Hi everyone, Pixelfia here. For this video I wanted to share some of my gameplay and experience with the game Moonstone Island. Let me just say this game is delightful. I've only played an in-game month so far, as the title says, but I've had a really great time. The gameplay loop is very satisfying, especially with all the content this game has, such as finding and taming spirits, going through different dungeons and interacting with all the NPCs. But I will say, even though I've only done an in-game 28 days and in real life almost 15 hours, I've somehow done so much yet so little at the same time. Let me break down my experience of a month in Moonstone Island and also some tips I've learned for anyone who is interested in playing. Also, just a heads up, this was recorded before the new Magic Man update and DLC was released, so gameplay might be a bit different for anyone who hasn't started the game yet, but I think the basic fundamentals are the same. Day 0 and 1. A little tutorial with our mum and dad teaches us the basics. We also get to choose our first spirit, although the name sheet made me go feral. I had to choose this deformed looking bee because he looked the most powerful after looking at all the stats. And while I appreciate all the help from our characters' parents, no one thought to teach us how to use the broom, so we crash land on Moonstone Island and immediately break the broom. Day 2. We meet some of our NPCs. I establish I'm the most unfunny person on this island, and I get to work mining some stone, getting ore and upsetting everyone I meet. And I set up my little tent. Now, every island you go to, if you hammer at a certain rock, there will be a mine underneath, so if you're ever low on iron or copper, there should be a surplus on another island. You just have to find where it is. Day 3. More resource mining, starting our first dungeon, and I got him, my big boy, my brick house, the MVP of my little ragtag group of spirits. Also, I got this worm. He's cool, I guess. One thing that I absolutely adore about this game is that you never, and I mean never, have to make a chest, because you just collect them from dungeons or mines. Like, by the end of the month I had almost like 50 chests. It's insane. We defeated the first guardian and got our first memory shard, and then I rewarded myself for making a little farm, mostly because I realised just how quickly stamina drained and I hadn't even ventured out of the island yet. Day 4. After making bank delivering my spirit research, I made my balloon, RIP broomstick, and ventured out for the first time. I met the Magic Man and he told me about the Spring Temple and the offerings I needed to place. While running around town, I found the warp whistle by the fountain, and let me tell you guys, this is super important, even though the game doesn't explicitly tell you. But once a day, the whistle can warp you right back onto Moonstone Island, which is so handy, especially in the beginning when stamina decreases with travel quickly, and you want to get home without passing out. Another important item is the fishing rod, which you have to buy from Tobin down here at the beach part. Another really important item to have, fishing only costs a couple of stamina points, and depending on the type of fish can give you a huge amount of stamina. And you can also sell all your fish to Tobin for pretty good money and get those experience points. Day 5, I found a treasure map, got into the Spring Temple and fought this eldritch horror. But to finish the temple you need clay, which is dropped by earth spirits in your spirit barn, which I was still a ways to go before being able to make, so I decided to explore some other islands. I had my lifespan decreased by 5 years when the Magic Man and his house came rumbling in, but I gave him one of his memory shards back anyways because I'm a nice person and I didn't want his house to kill me. Days 6 to 8, I spent these days mostly mining, trying to level up my spirits, exploring new islands to collect their moonstones, and trying not to have a heart attack when Magic Man showed up. I dug up some treasure using the map I found, which was very cool. I also made a new broom, which was 100 times better than the balloon and so much faster. Day 9, I finally had enough materials to make my spirit barn, and after some light deforestation, I placed it down and also put in my earth spirit eggs I had collected on my travels, before going to the science center to send a fully grown earth spirit in because I wanted clay and I wanted it now. Day 10, I upgraded my house tent so it was a little bigger and upgraded some of my tools. Day 11, I found the fire islands and immediately got set on fire. Day 12, I realised my tiny farm would not be good enough for the amount of crops I needed, so I expanded. I then found the electricity islands, which were about as welcoming as the fire ones, but I did manage to complete a dungeon, so I wasn't a complete failure. Day 13, I got a letter from Rowan asking to pair up the townspeople with spirits, which I think is a very cute idea for this game. My earth eggs finally hatched, and there's still no clay, but these guys are here now. I completed another dungeon and gave Magic Man his memory shards, and then found the slime poison island and met these googly guys who I managed to tame because, obviously, like they're so silly, of course I'm keeping them. Day 14, Paolo asked me for a spirit pairing, which, spoilers, is the spirit Oaken, which is an earth spirit. I also finally got clay, which meant I could go to the spring temple and complete it, after a pretty tough battle with these guys. But I am the worst at strategic battles, so it'll probably go a lot easier for literally anyone who isn't me. Day 15 to 19, mostly just exploring new islands, trying to get Guyana to like me, and completing dungeons. Day 20, I decided I needed to use a fire-resistant potion I collected from one of the chests on my travels to go to the Fire Islands to tame a fire spirit, which then failed immediately because of how much higher in levels they are, so I just fished in lava for the rest of the day while this guy danced for me. Day 21, did my basic exploring and depleting islands of their natural resources, and then I had a date which went, Day 22 to 25, it was just more dungeons, more mines, more heart attacks from Magic Man's house. Also, I started building a big bridge because I was tired of running back and forth to get to this particular area of town. I added to my treasure map collection. I also finally made a glider, which is the best way to travel for your little alchemist. It does drain stamina, but way less than both the balloon and broom, and it is a lot faster and easier to navigate than the other two. You do still need your broom though when navigating dungeons, as you're not allowed to use your glider. I also had my second date, and it went a lot better than the first. I think the date system in this game is super cute and charming, and definitely a fun way to get to know the NPCs. I definitely recommend going on more dates than I have. Day 26, the impossible happened. I was in the dungeon fighting the final boss of it when both my big boy brick house and deformed bee were thwarted, and against all odds, Worm came out victorious. I was honestly flabbergasted. The spirit I kept around because of his peer cards dominated this battle. Couldn't be more proud of the little guy. Day 27, after completing another dungeon, I rushed back to have my third date with Guyana. Immediately failed it, but did a sneaky save reload so I didn't have to live with my failure. Apart from Magic Man, I really like Guyana. She's like the mean goth Haley of Moonstone Island, but I do like this funky freak. I have a soft spot for really hard to romance NPCs because I like to make life harder for myself. Day 28. Finally, on my last day of the month, I decided to do the impossible, tame a fire spirit. With my inventory full of fire flowers with taming fertilizer I'd been growing in my backyard, I went to the fire island and immediately was met by a bunch of spirits ready to rumble. But my fire flowers did the trick and I managed to tame 2 fire spirits and decided to beat the other one up as a little treat. And that was my month in Moonstone Island. This game is great, I highly recommend it. It's just a good fun time that you can turn your brain off to, but also focus in on, if that makes sense. Like, according to Steam, this took me 15 hours to play an in-game month, but it definitely didn't feel that way because I was just having a good time. I'm really excited to continue this game in my own time, but also to check out what this new Magic Man update the devs have given us has in store. Thank you for watching, kind stranger, if you've made it to the end, and let me know what you thought of this video in the game in the comments. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.